India says it has no plans to further escalate its conflict with Pakistan after launching multiple missile strikes, a move Islamabad has declared an act of war. Funerals have been taking place for some of the victims killed in the disputed region of Kashmir after the worst violence between the two nuclear-armed nations in more than 2 decades. Pakistan says at least 31 people died in India's strike and dozens more were injured. Residents say they were woken in the middle of the night.
It was 12:45 at night. We were sleeping when a drone came. It was right above us. Then 3 more drones appeared. They were attacking the mosque. They hit it directly. Everything was crushed.
Fear and terror spread in people. People had just gone out into the fields in the open, just like that. The night passed, but there was a lot of fear and panic.
India says it struck terrorist infrastructure linked to last month's attack on Hindu tourists in Indian-controlled Kashmir. Pakistan denies any involvement in the massacre. The Pakistani Prime Minister says his forces have responded appropriately to India's attack on civilian sites by shooting down several Indian fighter jets.
The previous night, India made an offensive mistake, and it will have to bear the repercussions of its actions. Perhaps they thought we would retreat, but they forgot that by the grace of Allah Almighty, we are a nation of brave people who are steely in their determination.
The disputed territory of Kashmir lies high in the Himalayas and is separated by de facto borders. It's been a flashpoint between India and Pakistan for decades. The area is heavily populated, with about 7 million people living in the Indian-administered region and 6 million in the part controlled by Pakistan. Both countries claim the area in its entirety, with China also holding a smaller part of the resource-rich district. Indian officials say shelling by Pakistan killed at least a dozen people on its side of Kashmir. They say its operation was a collaborated response targeting militants to preempt and deter further attacks in India.
India has demonstrated considerable restraint in its response. However, it must be said that the Indian armed forces are fully prepared to respond to Pakistani misadventures, if any, that will escalate this situation.
Before and after satellite images show the impact of India's missile strikes in Pakistan-controlled areas, the flare-up in violence has prompted airlines to divert flights. International leaders are calling for restraint between the two countries. The United Nations says tensions are at their highest in years, while the European Union says civilians are being caught in the crossfire.
It is clear that this war is not good for anybody, so we are trying to, mediate and bring the tensions down. Of course, I condemn terrorism in any shape or form. That is also very clear, but we need to see how we can go from here to bring the tensions down.